Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Battle Chronicle video. And today, we are going to be taking a look at some more event ranking shenanigans. First and foremost, we have a Japanese player who is using Tiona as his primary DPS unit in order to get 6,000 plus points. So he has no bell. I haven't actually watched the video. This is going to be my first time actually reacting to it as well, along with you guys. So I don't know if he has Lafia, but I am pretty sure he doesn't have Bell, because I know the person who linked me this video said that he used only Tiona. And then along with that, for the second part of this video, we are going to be taking a look at my own run wherein I got 8,300 points with Bell and Lafia. So of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more Danmachi and Danmachi Battle Chronicle content, and let me know in the comment section down below, how are you guys faring so far in the event ranking practice. Of course, we only have 4 to 5 more days to go before the event ranking begins on the 10th of January. So be sure to get ready for it. Of course, it is a very interesting stage. In all honesty, it's very different compared to the previous stages. We have to keep an eye out on the timer more, have to keep an eye out on the mobs, and so on and so forth. It's much more intensive, I feel, compared to previous stages. So I definitely will understand if people aren't able to do their best, because even I'm struggling, to be quite honest, big time. But it's very inconsistent from my end. I score sometimes 7,000, and then sometimes I can get an 8,000 run, but then at other times I get only 6,000. So it's very inconsistent. It's a lot of work to keep on top of the stage itself. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't really worry too much, to be quite honest. And another thing I would like to mention actually, and I kind of am disappointed that for this video, I wasn't able to secure the best runs. Unfortunately, the gamers are too competitive. That's the best way to put it. The gamers in Danmachi Battle Chronicle are too competitive, it seems like. But yeah, no, a lot of people are posting scores of like 9,000 plus points, 10,000 plus points. And while I can get an idea, a general idea of their strategy, I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that, to be quite honest, because I don't know exactly what they're doing in the stage. None of them have shared clips. They've only shared pictures of their final runs, which have, show them scoring 9,000 plus points, 10,000 plus points. But we do know that they're using Summer Lily, Bell, and Lafia. Now, you might be wondering, why Summer Lily? Summer Lily is a speed type unit. Shouldn't you be using maybe another support unit or something like that, maybe, or another DPS unit? Well, Summer Lily has something very unique about her, which allows her to be a fantastic option for this event ranking. And that is, of course, the fact that she also, alongside Lafia, has the field effect, and her field effect actually deals damage. And of course, because her field effect is, of course, on her special move, with the special move gauge reset and everything, and the fact that she's also, well, a speed unit, that means her charge, her ult charge, is going to be insane. And on top of that, you're going to be able to set up multiple fields at the same time. So say if you can set up a field in every corner of the map, pretty much, in like say 4 corners, and then you place Lafia's in the middle, you're gonna get a huge bonus there, because you're able to just kill the mobs as they approach you, as they come through the field much quicker. So of course you're gonna have that advantage. And then when you're going up against the golden orc, well, you have to use Bell in order to just launch those firebolts at and at any given time, basically. So yeah, I think that is the strategy that people are employing. Now, I don't know how true that is. I don't know what scene cards they're exactly using. I assume Lily is getting all the special move damage scene cards, because of course she is, her ult, her field effect is part of her ult, so it counts as ult damage. So it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, I don't have Summer Lily, so I can't really replicate those runs. But if I could, I would share it with you guys. It's kind of disappointing that, of course, people are being so secretive about it in order to get that first place or second place, because I feel like, it doesn't matter, first or 100th, you still get the same rewards. But I understand, for the title and also the ability to, one up the JP player base potentially and everything. I understand that whole need to, make sure that everything is kept as a secret. No need to, share anything or anything of that sort. But I just personally feel it's a bit extra, in all honesty. At the end of the day, it should just come down to skill more so than anything else. And if, you're able to do a better job than another player with the same team, that is, more exciting than, just hiding your strategies from everybody and saying like, nah, I want to make sure and guarantee that I get that first place, rather than, trying to earn it. Maybe I'm being a little bit old-fashioned there. Maybe I'm also being a little bit stubborn about the whole idea of this and maybe not understanding their perspective. But either way, that is how the player base is. It's not just in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, it's in many other gacha games as well. Even Danmimo had that to an extent with certain game modes and stuff, but it is what it is. I'm all for competition, but I feel like in some situations, in certain cases, I feel like it's not necessary to go crazy with this sort of thing, But either way, it is what it is. I invite people, if they want to share their videos and they don't mind sharing their strategies of 9,000, 10,000 plus points, I might react to it on a live stream or something. We'll see. But for now, I have to make do with what I have, and these are the two runs that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So let's start with the Tiona one. Enough chitter chatter. Of course, I wanted to talk about that 9,000, 10,000 plus point runs because, of course, people will be talking about it. Somebody actually commented on my video saying that somebody got 9,000 plus points, which is why I brought it up in this video. But yeah, it is very unfortunate that, people are just kind of hiding it. But anyways, Tiona only run, let's see, 6,365 points, of course, as you can see by the title of this video right here. So really good score for what I wasn't expecting to be a great unit. I thought that Tiona would probably net you around 5,000-ish, 5,500-ish. I know some people mentioned that solo Bell and Lafia was getting around 5k, 4.5k to 5k. So that wasn't too bad. But Tiona, I wasn't sure on because while she's able to clear the mobs, the golden orc is a little bit different in all honesty. So I was quite curious to see exactly how she would perform. So let's check it out and let's see what she is capable of doing. So I'm just gonna mute the audio because we don't need it. So they immediately go with of course going with they make sure to use, ooh, that's a good preemptive maneuver. I really see, this is one thing I was actually talking to somebody about this in my live stream yesterday. A lot of people tell me that I should learn how to preempt the enemies and stuff and predict when where they're gonna spawn. And of course, I know that the game does have an arrow to point towards where you're going, but I feel like more often than not with a very narrow range, for example, like a bell or like either fire bell or water bell actually, and even Tiona's first skill to an extent as well. I feel like the range is too narrow to the point where I could easily miss. So I tend to avoid, preempting the enemy. I just turn the camera around, go for him, and then go continue on. A lot of people are able to preempt before they even spawn in and are able to basically kill the eyes, which is, of course, an insane strategy. And it is probably a bit of a difference maker. I think it easily nets them at least 300, 400 more points for sure, no doubt about it. But I just find it, again, it adds on to the need to know and identify, everything and every small detail doing this run. It's about optimizing it tremendously, and you have to keep an eye out on the timer once again, and especially the eyes countdown timer. She spawns in every 5 seconds. Then you have to keep an eye out on obviously the special move gauge reset counter, which is every 20 seconds. Then you have to keep an eye out on just generally your other units ults, timing them, when to time them, when to bring them in, when to not bring them in, and so on and so forth. So yeah, this team, by the way, I didn't even notice this team. I didn't even bring it up. But this team is Tiona, Haruhime, and Cassandra. It doesn't even feature Lafia. So a really good score considering no Lafia, no new unit. Really good score. Really, really good score. We'll take a look at the awakenings and stuff. I assume they'll show it at the end. I'm hoping at least they show it at the end. Or it might be in the title. I'll have to read the title in more detail in just a second. But yeah, so we have a Haruhime here coming in. So I assume this is where we will see Tiona's ult go off. And yeah, you can see that they're unable to kill the orc. The orc just is too tanky. Apparently, the orc has the health of about 100k, it seems like, from what everybody has been able to measure. Now, one thing you can do is that you can have multiple orcs at all times. So that actually kind of helps out a little bit because that way you can, you don't lose out on orcs as you go along. But it does, become a case in which you have to be a little bit cautious because, well, you have to acknowledge the fact that, well, you could be, getting body blocked by the orc. This is something that I had an issue with earlier on in my run, unfortunately, in one of my practice runs where I tried doing the strategy of like letting the orc spawn in and everything. And I was like, let's see how it goes. I'm not sure. Obviously, there I feel like they could have probably done a little bit better because it does seem like the armadillo was just vibing there for a very long time in the corner. He was definitely going for the eyes and also the orc more so, but I feel like going for the armadillo would have been better because at least you would have had the next set of mobs spawn in, of course. Now, like I said, I think that this strategy is it's something that you can definitely execute, but I feel like you can only have like maybe 2 3 orcs up at most at all times, because I feel like just generally having that many orcs is very problematic in all honesty, because otherwise you just get body blocked tremendously. This is something, like I said, I had an issue with in my own run, unfortunately. But yeah, so far I feel like the only thing I feel like he's missing out on realistically is just I feel like his mob kills are a little bit slow, but his ice skills I feel like he's on top of them tremendously, I feel, for sure. Of course you can tell that he's a little bit behind compared to where I would be normally in this run in terms of you know, getting to the phoenixes and the other mini mobs, of course. But yeah, he's doing extremely well here. He's getting the ices, which is, I think, priority for me personally. I would highly recommend, if you're looking to focus on one set of enemies, I think getting the ices and the mobs are the priority. The orcs are definitely important as well, but like I said, the orcs consistently spawn in, you know, as you kill the ices, so that's, I think, a little bit a little less of an issue. On thankfully, you want to primarily just focus in on maximizing your damage from this guy, at least. You want to maximize your damage from you know, or maximize your points, I should say, from the ices and you know, the mobs as well, because the orcs will come through as you go on in the fight, of course, so that helps out tremendously. Another thing to note is that the phoenixes do knock you down, so keep that in mind. Very frustrating. I realized that on day one, and I was like, god damn, that is actually a little bit of a pain. Good final skill there. Didn't get the eyes though. I saw that the eyes was a little bit away from dying, which is unfortunate, but really solid run overall. Not bad at all. I'm quite curious to see what his awakening is, so I'm gonna just quickly check the title of the video. 1 second. And along with that, yeah, it is a A3 Tiona, which is, of course, pretty strong. Of course, her special moves are getting a bit of a boost. Skill 1s and skill 2s got a bit of a boost as well, and her general stats are much higher as well. I'm quite curious to see what the rest of her units awakenings are, because of course, if Haruhime is A5, makes a bit of a difference, because that damage boost is a lot higher. Hestia's awakening as well would make a bit of a difference for sure as well. So yeah, you've got all of these factors to consider in, you know, before saying that not everybody can get this run. I think, but what I would say is that run proves that every player with a Tiona, I would say, and a Hestia and Haruhime, which Haruhime is free, so you should have had gotten her already. Hestia and Tiona, I hope with the free multis and well, the numerous amount of free multis and free tickets we've gotten over the last few months, hopefully you managed to pull one of them at least, or both of them, to be honest, because I think you can kind of get away with using Hephaestus as well on Tiona, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But if you have all three of those units, I think you could be able to do it, because they didn't use Cassandra, by the way. They didn't use Cassandra, so if you get Lafia, you can chuck in Lafia over Cassandra, and basically you've got yourselves a amazing team set up right there, basically, to carry you forward. Of course, that's assuming you have the new Lafia, right? But yeah, that is, of course, the first run I wanted to take a look at. Now, let's take a look at the second run, which is my own run. So, say hi to Past Gale. This was live streamed yesterday. This was a run I wasn't necessarily expecting, to be quite honest. I thought that, you know, I would cap out at about 7,800, 900 points. I was resigned to that fact in a way as well, but I was still pushing, because I knew that I wanted to try and at least, you know, get 8,000 if possible, at least once, you know, maybe then it would have given me some hope. By this point, I'd gotten 8,000 3 times. I'd gotten 8,000, 8,100 and something, and then 8,200. If actually you want to check out the entire live stream, and of course I'll be linking that Japanese player's video as well, I will be putting it in the description down below. But of course, Blank Hero as well has placed a lot of stuff in the comment section, actually. Timestamps for when they happen. Of course, you guys can't see it because it's a bit cut off for the video, so that you guys can only see the actual content there. But yeah, he's basically left timestamps in the comment section of the live stream, which big shout outs to him. Thank you so much for that, Blank Hero. It helps out a lot to those who are interested in actually keeping an eye out on what scores I got and how I managed to get those scores. But I want to show you guys the main score in this video. So let's get it playing. So the main strategy that I was employing pretty much at this point is I was just ignoring Haruhime, because I felt like switching between 3 units was wasting a little bit of time, and on top of that, with the whole you know, SA gauge reset thing and everything, I felt like it was cutting it too close at times, and I was making a lot of mistakes towards the end, especially when things are getting more and more hectic over time, right? So I was like, you know what, let's ignore Haruhime and let's focus entirely on using Lafia. I may have used Haruhime at one point in this run though, but I feel like for the most part I just ignored her entirely. Like I wasn't paying too much attention there. A bit of a mistake there, funnily enough, as well, and here as well. Usually I'm able to kill all the enemies as well. Yeah, wow, I actually didn't realize how much of a rubbish start this was as well, to be quite honest. I'm not gonna lie, this feels like a bit of a rubbish start, to be honest. I'm not gonna front. So yeah, this is where this is where I was kind of also employing this strategy a little bit. Strategy is what was that? I was employing the strategy a little bit of letting the eyes spawn in and letting the orc survive a little bit, while also just going all in and trying to get as many KOs as possible. One thing I always tried to do with Bell's Firebolt was, like, I would always try and get both the orc and an eyes in at all times, if possible. I would let the orc survive if need be, but I always made sure to do this. One thing I would always try and do is whenever I would have like 2 or 3 seconds left, this is also something I would implore people do. So whenever I would have like 4 seconds left, right, I would notice that my Bell's SA is not refilled, but at the same time, I really need to use Lafia's SA, because as you saw there, the field literally just disappeared. So I knew at that point I had to use Lafia's ability. Now, the thing is, right, whenever you go into another unit via a special move, you get a cooldown of 2 seconds only, because I think the SA kind of lowers the countdown timer a little bit, but also the timer stops as well, and the main timer stops, but the sub countdown actually keeps going. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong, but immediately with 3 seconds to go, you can immediately switch over to back to Bell, which is what I do here. You'll see it in a second. You'll see my SA gauge fill up back again with Bell, even though I was technically on Lafia though. The thing is, right, there's like a 1 to 2 second, I'd say, leeway between the 20-second countdown and you getting the SA gauge reset. So keep that in mind and take advantage of it. It's a very narrow window. Again, it's one of those things that you kind of want to optimize and of course take advantage of. Like you saw there, I managed to get Bell's SA at 1 minute 59. So again, you get that little bit of leeway, which you should try and take advantage of, because it is just obviously a tremendous aid, obviously, to the entire run effectively, because it just makes life a lot easier. It does make it tremendously easier. One thing I noticed as well with Bell and Bell's skills, by the way, is that you want to use you want to save the E for eyes if possible. So keep that in mind. Use the E for eyes, and also take advantage of Lafia's second skill as well. When I say E, I'm talking about the second skill, by the way. The first skill is a Q for me, so just the terminology. So her skill 2 is the one you want to save for eyes, because otherwise you're gonna struggle to KO her. For some reason, it's hard to KO her without using the E there, or the second skill, I should say. So it becomes a very tricky affair. I don't know what I did differently in this run, but it definitely was a lot faster. One more thing I would also advise is if the bird is about to attack you, just take advantage of the bird basically, using the fire breath and taking his own sweet time by using your own skill, because then he's basically going to not knock you down. For some reason, the knockdown doesn't go through when you use your skill. You have that little bit of invulnerability as well to knockdowns, that resistance, I suppose. Which is kind of weird considering it is a form of an iframe, but not really an iframe, because it's not an invincibility frame. It's just a regular it's just a regular Joe, ability, which is kind of weird. But yeah, this is where, you kind of have to just make sure that you are optimizing your rotations efficiently. It's all about rotations from the at the end, to be quite honest, because you have to just optimize and make sure that you're moving smoothly. I don't know why my guy wasn't moving there. Sometimes the enemies get frozen, which makes it a little bit more frustrating. Because outside of, you know, to be quite honest, probably this is the first event ranking where the enemies actually go towards you, which is so nice in all honesty. It is so helpful because it just allows you to get like a little bit of an advantage here and there, which is super amazing in all honesty. It is so good. All right, that was very good, by the way. Towards the end there, I didn't even use Haruhime. I thought I used Haruhime in this run, but I didn't. But that was an excellent maneuver from my end. I used Lufia's ability here, and then I immediately just used her E and then went for Chigusa, basically, just to get that extra bit of dash towards the enemies. And then I could use Chigusa to get the AoE KO there. Really beneficial. Something to bear in mind is like how you can use your skills to not only just attack enemies, but to also cover ground as well with certain assists that are, you know, have a forward movement or a side movement or a back dash or something like that, right? You want to take advantage of those in order to help you get a better run overall as well, purely because, again, the movement in this game isn't necessarily the best, you know. Obviously you have things like the boots to improve your movement speed and everything, but it is not easy at all. It is not easy at all to, you know, get move between enemies consistently and as fast as possible, because of course of, like, you know, body blocking and stuff like that. So you have to take things like, you know, this forward movement attack that Lufia has in order to take you know, cover that ground that you might have lost because of a body block or something, or actually use her E to, you know, push through that body blocking that maybe the orc might be doing or something else. But yeah, this was an 8,300 and something point run, 310 point run. One of my best run that I got in the live stream, I think it was. I don't think I got anything better than that as far as I can recall. From the top of my head, at least, I think that was my best run. Maybe I might have gotten a better run. I can't remember of the, to be quite honest, this was quite late at night and I needed to go to bed to go to work, of course, as well. But yeah, really good run overall. I think that for the most part, people should be aiming, depending on what you have, I think people should be aiming for certain brackets. Like if you have a Tiona, I think 5,000 to 6,000 points should be your aim. If you have a Bell or Lufia, one of them, along with maybe two other support units like Haruhime or something, try and aim for potentially the likes of a I would say probably around, say, 6,000 to 7,000, maybe a bit, maybe a little bit less potentially as well, 5,750 to 6,500 or something, maybe, I don't know. And then if you have Bell and Lufia both together, I think players should be going towards 7,000 at the very least. And then similarly, of course, if you have her along with the two new units, that should be a 9,000 plus point run, clearly, based on what I've been seeing, of course, in the you know, in the discords and stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the event ranking so far. You guys have probably had a couple more days to practice as well, so hopefully you guys have gotten better. Let me know your thoughts, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.